Today we will discuss about the concept of yoga with special reference to Hatha Yoga. It is more or less universally known now what yoga is. Yoga is unison. The word is derived from the Sanskrit root yuj. From yuj to unite, the word yoga has been derived, and the meaning of word yoga is unison. Unison on different levels. First, unison of the individual soul with the universal soul or God. That is the highest meaning of yoga, and that should be the final goal for every spiritual seeker. But as we go on a very long journey, usually we have to halt at some stations in between. So during this long journey of individual spirit merging into the universal spirit, in between we have to make some holds, and those intermediate stations also have some sort of yoga there, unison. So first station is carry the currents of prana. Prana is vital energy which flows through these nadis. Here, at this point, you should also understand what nadi means. Nadi is any tubular structure. Any tubular structure is called nadi. Our intestines are tubular structures. They also can be called nadi. Our arteries, veins, nerves, they are all tubular structures through which something flows. In veins and arteries, the blood flows. In intestines, the chyle, the liquid made out of the food, flows. In the nerves, this cerebrospinal fluid flows. These are all nadis that we know from the gross body. We can see them with our eyes. If we see a human body dissected, then we can see these nadis. And doctors sometimes operate the bodies and make some corrections in these nadis too. But we have two more bodies. All of us have three bodies. So you have come here from USA with your gross body. I'll send you back with two more bodies. Of course, you have brought them with you, but you have not known them. I'll tell you something about that. So when you go back, you see, you will have cheated the airlines. With one ticket, you take three bodies. How nice. But don't tell this, otherwise airline people will charge you 3 times.
Don't take 3 seats.
3 seats also. We have this gross body, and within the gross body we have two more bodies. One is subtle body, known as Sukshma Sharir in Sanskrit, and causal body, known as Karan Sharir in Sanskrit. He will write these Sanskrit words for you people. Bhai, Kaushik. Now, we all know about the gross body, and so much of research has been done on it that practically every small part in the body is known to. Similarly, the causal body also fits within the subtle, and that also doesn't require any extra space. We can say that apart from gross and subtle body, the causal body is subtlest body. So we have three bodies, and within the three bodies is encased our individual spirit, which is known as Atman or soul, individual spirit, Atman. This Atman, as such, is all-knowing. It is all-powerful, and it is part of Brahman, the ultimate reality. So it is also a spark of the same life which there is in the universal spirit. So that way, individual spirit is not different from universal spirit. So universal spirit is called Param Atman, Paramatman. Param means big. Paramatman is universal spirit. Param means big. So our Atman, individual spirit, is comparatively smaller than the Paramatman, universal spirit. Because universal spirit has a universal body, large body, cosmic body, and we have small body. But as that cosmic body is macrocosm, ours is microcosm. So our body is microcosm, and the universe is macrocosm. Now, when this Atman becomes encased into these three bodies, it is called Jivatma. It becomes Jiva. Nichala? Jivatman or Jiv, in short. It can be spoken either way. This Jivatman means when the Atman is bound within the bodies, that bound soul is Jivatman. And the same Jivatman, when through the practice of yoga gets liberated and becomes free from three bodies, again becomes pure Atman. So now first realization should be the free Atman in ourselves, and that is called self-realization. It precedes God realization. Before we merge or realize Paramatman, we must first realize our own Atman, because we are Jivatman, yet bound with the bodies. So we have forgotten the true nature of our spirit within. We don't know that we are pure Atman. So first the Jiva should realize that he is pure Atman, And that is first unison required. And after that, the unison of Atman with Paramatman. Now, in order to realize that we are pure Atman, what should we do? We are Jivatman. We are bound within three bodies. What should we do in order to realize our free self within? Yoga, all right. Right, not wrong. But I want to still further probe. What will yoga do? Come on. How will yoga take you to...
Separate you from the identity with the bodies.
Yes.
Physical, subtle, and causal.
You see, we are caught into three cases. I always give an example that all of us who have precious jewels, how do you keep them? If you have a precious diamond, what will you do?
Lock it away.
Yes, you will first put it in a first-class piece of paper or beautiful cloth, then put in a small box, jewel box, and then put that box into the iron safe so that nobody can steal it away. And then keep the keys with you. This is how you keep the diamond. So now if I say that show me the diamond that you have, what will you do? Open the safe, bring out the box, from box bring out that piece of cloth, open the piece of cloth and show the diamond. So now your diamond, the Atman, you have put first into the piece of cloth, the causal body, then the jewel box, subtle body, and that you have put into the iron safe, that's your gross body, and you have locked it and you have lost the key. And in order to find the key, you have come thousands of miles away. Here. Yes, I have the bunch of keys. So now, how to open this, isn't it? So one by one you will have to open these boxes and safe. So first, you will have to open your physical self, physical body. How to do that? Go to some surgeon and tell him to dissect the body and open it? No. Yes, good. So, first, physical body, we must come out of it. Out of it in the sense, our consciousness is identified with the gross body, and so we only know of the gross body at this level. Because our consciousness is within, deep within, because soul has become chitta in the causal body. Now there is additional body, still additional body, so our consciousness also becomes extroverted. So with gross body, our level of consciousness is physical consciousness. With the subtle body, our level of consciousness becomes psychomental. And with the causal body, our consciousness becomes intuitive consciousness. And as we withdraw from causal body also, then our consciousness becomes pure consciousness. That is spirit. Now we have to raise the level of our consciousness from gross to the pure consciousness. So for raising the level from gross consciousness, we must come to psychomental consciousness, means identify ourselves with this subtle body. Now how to identify with the subtle body? Tell me. Yes.
Meditation.
Partly yes. 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 All practices of yoga. But how? I'll give you an example how you go and establish your identity with the subtle body. Not that you have not known, you know it, but you have not given importance to it. Everybody has experienced some sort of dreams in sleep. Is there anyone who has never dreamt anything? Everyone dreams. So, in dream state, you have sometimes jumped, you have sometimes run, you have sometimes talked, laughed, cried, done many things. And when you do that in dream, you feel you are really doing it. But when your eyes get open, then you say, oh, it was all dream. But till then, you feel that it is absolutely true, real. Yes, that is real. And that is your identity with the subtle body. The one that jumps, that laughs and cries and runs and speaks is subtle body. But that is a limited awareness of subtle body. It is not within your purview to master it, master that state. It is when you are tired and asleep and forget your physical consciousness that consciousness begins at subtle level. So it is not a false experience. It is an experience, but it is not a full experience of subtle body. But when during yoga, when you become introverted in your level of feelings, then you realize your subtle body. And when you realize your subtle body, you become totally forgetful about your physical body. As you become forgetful during sleep, but during sleep, when you are in a dream state, as I told you, your memory, your level of mind, intellect functions at a very low level. But if you come to the consciousness of subtle body during yoga practice, at that time your awareness as it is now, in extroverted awareness we say that, I am conscious about everything. But that consciousness is lower as compared to the one which you gain at the level of identification with the subtle body during yoga practice. So at that time, all your power of understanding perceptions become more powerful than the ordinary extroverted perceptions. Now that is the identity with the subtle body. Now, what is the identity with the causal body? As you have experienced dreams in the sleep, so also you have experienced deep sleep state also, where there are no dreams and where there is nothing, no thought, nothing, just peacefulness and forgetfulness. That is, your consciousness is sinking still further into the causal body in deep sleep state. But during sleep, as I told you, during the dream state, your mind, intellect, thinking, everything functions at a very low level. And in deep sleep state, they do not function at all. So, at that time, you are absolutely ignorant. But when identity with the causal body is established through yoga, at that time, consciousness level is raised much high. It's a very high level of consciousness, and at that time, one is not ignorant as one is in deep sleep state. Yet the peace is the same as you get in deep sleep state. Absolute peaceful state. That is the identity with the causal body. And when the consciousness is still further withdrawn into this spirit itself from which it emanates, then you realize the spirit within, and that is called self-realization. And that self-realization comes only when you can transcend these three bodies. So, first, our identity with the gross body is to be stopped, and identity with the subtle body is to be established. Next step, we have to stop our identity with the subtle body also and establish identity with the causal body. And finally, stop identity with the causal body also and establish identity with the spirit. That is self-realization, and that is first union. And next union will be uniting the spirit with the universal spirit. That is second union. Now still, before these two types of union, you have to achieve one more type of union in order to achieve the union with the spirit, individual spirit. And that union is, as I told you in the morning, uniting the currents of Ida and Pingala, the two nadis. And I was explaining that these two nadis, or the nadis about which yoga says something, is in the subtle body. Our subtle body has many nadis, as we have in our gross body veins, arteries, and major veins, major arteries, and minor and tributaries and small ones, thread-like structures. Similarly, our subtle body also has a network of many nadis. 72,000 nadis are there. Out of them, 14 are important. Out of them, only 3 are most important. And those 3 are Ida, Pingala, and Sushumna. Ida, Pingala and Sushumna. Now, as these nadis are in subtle body, we will have to understand the structure within the subtle body. As in gross body, we know that veins and arteries come out of heart and spread all over the body. Similarly, we know that the nerves come out from the brain and spread throughout the body. In subtle body also there is some such center from which the nadis originate, and that center is known as Kanda. Kanda, K-A-N-D. The meaning of Kanda is bulb, because it is a bulbous structure. And that bulb is located below the navel region, and about 4 or 5 inches above the base of the body. It is an egg-shaped bulb. Four finger lengths in width. 4 finger lengths. Finger. Measure in terms of centimeters or inches as you like. 4 fingers. From that bulb or kanda, all the nadis come out. And Ida, Pingala and Sushumna also come out from that kanda. And Ida goes from kanda to the left nostril, and Pingala goes to the right nostril. Now, here again, you should understand one thing clearly, that when I am giving you the location below the navel to the left nostril, right nostril, it means they are the places where the nadis go, because you won't be able to know places in subtle body. So I have to give the places of gross body so that you understand at what level they are. But these are all subtle structures in subtle body. So no doctor will ever be able to tell you by dissecting your body that, look, here is Sushumna Nadi and here is Ida Nadi and here is bulb, your Kanda, and like that. So from Kanda these 3 nadis emanate, and the Sushumna is in the middle, which goes into the brain straight away. But Ida, Pingala and Sushumna all have a meeting point into the center of the brain. Call it hypothalamus. At that place, all the 3 nadis meet, and after meeting, the end of Ida comes to the left nostril and end of Pingala goes to the right nostril. Can you follow me? So the place where all the 3 nadis meet in the brain, that is called Triveni. As I was explaining in the morning, Triveni, holy combination, conjunction of 3 rivers.
the Sushumna, does that end in the hypothalamus as well? Is that its final point?
It goes to the crown of head, but through hypothalamus. It's at hypothalamus that the three meet from Kanda. Then again they divert after meeting.
Now after they meet in
Yes, yes.
they don't go first after that.
No. Ida and Pingala, after meeting there in the hypothalamus, come to the nostrils, come to the place where nostrils are. Three means three. It's very good Sanskrit word. It's not very far from English. You call also try for three. So it is three, Veni, where three rivers meet. And so in India, near Allahabad, Ganges, Yamuna and Saraswati, three holy rivers meet. So people go there and take bath. And during every Kumbh Mela, auspicious time, millions of people take bath there and make the water dirty and make themselves also dirty and think that their sins are washed away. But really speaking, our sins can be washed away if we know how to bathe in this Triveni Sangam, where the three nadis meet. And that is real Triveni within. So now, as I was telling, there is still lower level union that is to be achieved before self-realization and God realization, is union between Ida and Pingala. The currents flowing in Ida and Pingala, left and right nadis in the subtle body, should be stopped, and it should be directed into the middle one, that is Sushumna. So that is unison of left and right currents, or left and right nadis. That is known as Ha, Tha. Ha is sun, and Pingala is known as sun nadi, because it carries hot current of the prana. And Pingala, and Ida is known as moon nadi. It carries cool current of prana. And since there is hot and cold, it is duality, isn't it? What is duality? Let us understand that. This time opposites. This time is daytime. When we say it is day, we know that there is opposite to it, night. When we say hot, there is something opposite to it which we say cold. When we say knowledge, then there is some opposite to it which we call ignorance. Light, then there is something opposite to it which is darkness. So our entire world, whole universe, and our entire understanding is based on duality. Anything you know about, there is an opposite to it. So our life itself is duality. And that is why we say, I am and God is. But when there is union, ultimately, as Vedas and Upanishads say, you will say, I am Brahman. I am Brahma. I am Shiva. There is nothing like me going to Shiva temple and having darshan of Shiva. If I am Shiva, where is the need of darshan of Shiva? That is real union or identity. But till we feel that I am, then there is a feeling that there is something else around me. Our world is how big? It's only 5.5 feet tall. Perhaps his world may be 6 foot tall, half a foot more. But how long? So our world is so small, and we say I, and the entire world is something remaining other than I. So it's all duality. That duality should end. So in Ida and Pingala, since they flow, there is duality. How long your duality will last, you must know. So far as Ida and Pingala flow in your subtle body, your duality will last. No sooner that current stops flowing and becomes united into Sushumna, no more hot, no more cold, then no more you and no more God or other thing. That is union, that is yoga. So at lower level, first yoga is to be union, is to bring about the union of Ida and Pingala, two currents. Now, in order to bring that union, what will you do? Yes. Anything you say out of yoga will not be wrong. Though will not be absolutely what I want you to know.
First get aware of it.
Yes. First get aware of it, right? And if you read the yogic texts, they will say a yoga aspirant, before he begins practice of yoga, he should get parichay, means introduction of nadis and vayus in the body. Parichay means introduction, means becoming aware, to know something preliminary about nadis and vayus. And that really is necessary. Before you can unite Ida and Pingala, you must first know what nadis are and what vayus are. What vayu in the sense, the vital pranas which flow into those nadis, what they are. And that is why you read Hatha Yoga Pradipika, Shiva Samhita, Gheranda Samhita, Vasishtha Samhita, Yagnavalkya Smriti, or any other book on Hatha Yoga. They will first definitely tell you something about nadis and vayus. What are nadis and what are vayus? It's not to be just known by way of reading the books, but because the book says that one should get introduced to these things, it means by practice, by experience, you must get introduced to those things first in your subtle body. And for that, you must do what practice? Yoga, that's very right. You have become very wise. And now that you know, shall we stop here, this course? You have already known. Yes, for that one must practice asana, pranayama willfully. They are necessary.